What is up, bros? I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we are a couple of bros on a mission to give you guys the most detailed movie reviews out there with as little bias as possible. Welcome to the All Bros. This week on the podcast in 4K Spotlight, we have two movies, neither of which I've seen. One of them I do want to. The other one I could give two shits about. So we'll be talking about those releases, and then in our Through the Wall, we will be discussing the newest trailer for the Flash movie that came out. After that, we will be getting straight into our headliner, which will be our breakdown of Air. So, yeah, it should be a really, really fun episode this week. So with that, let's say we get into this.
Hey guys, I'm Crash, host of the podcast Crash and Taz's Movie Cellar. On our show, me and my co-host pick a new movie each week and rate each movie on a few categories that we think are important to making a great movie. After we rate the movie, it gets a final rating, and that lands it somewhere on our Cellar scale, where it will get labeled as either a well, premium, or a top shelf film. Catch us on platforms like Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and more. And don't forget to follow us on social media. On Instagram as Crash and Taz's Movie Cellar. It's Crash, the letter N, Taz Movie Cellar, with underscores in between each word. And on Facebook, Crash and Taz Movie Cellar, where you as a listener can suggest movies for us to rate, and also give us some constructive criticism to make the show more entertaining. Overall, don't forget to follow or subscribe, and rate and review us, and get ready for an entertaining show with us. See you guys then.
I feel like my constructive criticism is release an episode once in a while.
So that's some good criticism.
That's a damn good criticism.
Listen up, Vic. Come on.
All right, starting off in 4K Spotlight, we have two new 4K releases this week. So Rose, would you like to tell everyone about them?
I would love to. So I'm curious, which one of these are you not interested in at all?
80 for Brady.
Oh, okay, thank God. Okay, same here.
Yeah, Champions looks like it's going to be the shit.
Okay, good. So Blu-ray wise, these aren't getting released on 4K. But Blu-ray wise, Jesus. We got 80 for Brady coming out, which this is actually already streaming. Oh my God, what the hell is English language today? This is already streaming on Paramount Plus right now if you want to watch it that way. But if you are a physical media collector like moi, comes out this Tuesday on Blu-ray. I have no interest in picking it up. I mean, I'll watch it on Paramount Plus. I'm like kind of interested a little bit, but only because Sally Fields is in it. I'll watch.
Dude, that's the only
Fields.
selling point for this movie.
Dude, straight up, because Sally Fields is freaking amazing, and I love her. So yeah, that's literally the only reason I would check it out. So maybe I'll check it out, maybe I won't. We'll see. And then the second one coming out is Champions, which I think I might just do a blind buy on this one because the trailer looks so funny. Freaking Woody Harrelson, you can never go wrong. And you also got Ernie Hudson and Cheech Marin. Like, I'm in. I'm sold. So I might have to blind buy this one. So yeah, out of the two, definitely Champions is the one that I'm definitely picking up. So yeah, that's what's coming to 4K Spotlight.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about either of those. Like I said, the only one I'm interested in seeing is Champions, and that is because it looks hilarious.
It really does.
So you'll have to let me know if you end up blind buying that one.
I will, and I will send you that digital code.
Hell yes.
Which, have I just, not sent you a lot of digital codes, or are you just, not that great with putting them in?
It's a little bit of both. You haven't sent me one in a while, but I also haven't gone and done any in a while.
Okay, I just didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Okay, I like it. It's a 50-50 blame. I like it.
Yeah. Like most things on this podcast.
True. Very true.
Jumping over to Through the Wall, we did get a new trailer for The Flash today, as of our recording date. And, dude, I was already sold on this movie.
I'm completely sold on this movie now. This was such a good freaking trailer.
Dude, this movie is getting redonkulously hyped up.
Yeah. Dude, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Like, I'm willing to look past what Ezra Miller did. What he did was
That's
horrible.
A bold statement.
Okay. Let's rewind back here. Ezra Miller, still a piece of shit. What he did, yeah, no. But that was a very loud but. If we get a good Flash movie from him, he might be the only thing that I'm just like, in it. I don't know how his acting is going to be in it. I don't know. It might be good.
Ezra Miller's not a bad actor.
That's true. It's just I hate what he did so much that it's ruining it for me whenever I see him on screen. I'm like, hey, you're a piece of shit. Still a good actor though.
Yeah,
but
it's almost
you're
like
a piece of shit.
he outact what his bad decisions?
I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, like I'm not 100% certain of that he will, but it's just like I said, everyone's getting hyped up. The cinematographers just got awards for this movie, or have just gotten
really?
Yeah, like they've gotten some serious praise.
Holy shit, man!
From
That's
this
awesome.
movie. James Gunn posted and said it's one of the best superhero movies he's seen. But again, it's like
that's a bold statement.
I know, but it's also, is it because that's true, or is it because he's trying to promote this movie because he's the new head of DC cinema?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's up in the air there. So it's kind of hard for me to completely trust him, even though he's never quite let me down before.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I mean, honestly, like, out of all of the DC movies that were set up before the James Gunn and Peter Safran takeover took place, this was always the one that I was most excited for, because The Flash is honestly my favorite DC character. So even with, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, all of that stuff that was lined up for later down the line, Flash was always the one that I was definitely rooting. And even with what happened with Ezra Miller, I'm still rooting for this movie because the fact that they are adapting Flashpoint makes me so happy. And just like the freaking visual effects look freaking incredible. On Flash,
some of them do.
Really, I didn't have a problem with any of them.
Don't get crazy, dude. There's some that I'm like, no, those are nuts.
Really, I did not have a problem with any. Huh,
whatever the scene is where he's getting electrocuted and like looking straight up, that looks not great.
All right, I'll give you that one.
And then there's like a couple here and there that don't look super good. But yeah, I mean, I have real high hopes, and I think like people have said like that are attached, like that know what Ezra Miller has done, and are like they've said like we're not trying to downplay what he did. It's just this movie is too good for him to ruin.
Damn. Okay.
And so it's like that's why they're not like completely like cutting him off.
Okay.
Or like disowning him or try like I said, like this isn't like a Batgirl situation where the movie's bad and so they're easy to just like, oh whatever, like write it off. Like they've said like this is a really good freaking movie. And so I think that's what's concerning to me, is that a lot of the executives are pushing and being like to not like, obviously they're not condoning what Ezra Miller's done, but they're not condemning him either.
Yeah.
And it better be a really good freaking movie.
I think so. I really hope it will because, yeah, if they decide to keep Ezra Miller as the Flash and still work with him, like, honestly, I don't see any other studio being willing to hire him after what
I
he
don't
did.
see that happening. I just don't think they want all of the negative publicity around this movie.
Fair enough. All right.
So I think Flash is definitely going to get rebooted. I don't think it's going to be Ezra Miller anymore. I think it's just DC saving their ass, being like, yeah, he's done some shady shit, but we don't want the negative attention on this movie because it is.
It's like, but look at what else is in this movie. Michael Keaton. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Loves
I
Michael
feel
Keaton.
like that. I think they're pushing Keaton on us real hard.
Yeah.
I'm not
straight up.
upset about it at all.
I'm not either.
But I'm excited though, dude. I am super freaking excited.
Oh yeah, dude. This just looks like a lot of fun. It really does. And like the serious parts that it needs to do, it seems like it's taking it the way that it should be. Just yeah, like, and I really like that Batman and the Flash can relate with the loss of both of their parents. I think that's actually like a really cool thing that they're going to explore in this movie. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I am too. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see everything, dude. Like, I love that we kind of got that sneak peek at the end of the Flash, Supergirl, and the other Flash in a Batman suit that's just kind of painted over. Like, I think that's really funny.
That was funny.
The new suit, though, like our Flash's suit, it's kind of growing on me.
It is on me too, but unpopular opinion, I still love the one that is in Justice League. Like his first Flash costume. I love that costume so much.
That's a great costume, especially for what they did with the Flash.
Like, I know they wanted to, like, with him growing experience, needs a new suit, but like, still, I love that suit so much. I would have loved to see it in the movie.
Yeah. Gosh. Like that, it's hard to argue with you there, dude. Like, it is a really solid suit. But I like I said, the new suit's just kind of growing on me. I still think maybe the mask is a bit bulky and just kind of odd looking, especially on Ezra Miller's face.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the shot where he's like in his running pose and it's like just a straight on headshot and you don't quite see the little chin strap underneath him, like that looks perfect. And I love like the new texture on his suit. The highlighted lines, I think they went a little overboard on. But it looks freaking cool.
It does. It really does.
So I'm pumped. I am really freaking pumped. Like, especially to see the Flash ring. Like, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be awesome.
And I can't wait to see what we get from freaking Michael Keaton.
Yes, it's gonna be so awesome having him back as Batman.
Dude, he looks so freaking good.
And I mean, I'm sure it's a small cameo. He's not in it a lot, but I'm just really happy to see Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I bet like all the stuff that we see with him is like opening credit stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Like, maybe we'll see him later. Like, I think we'll see him later, but as like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But I bet like all the stuff that we get is gonna be like intro. So I mean, I think our Batman for this movie is gonna be, and I'm not upset by that in the slightest. Dude, I freaking love that they threw in my favorite line of his in this trailer. Like, you want to get nuts?
Yes, that was so great.
That is easily my favorite Michael Keaton Batman line from from the '89 movie. Like anytime I think of that movie or someone brings it up, I'm just like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. So the fact that he said that filled me with so much joy. Like I couldn't be happier. And I gotta say this too. I like that they gave him a hairpiece.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
Looks
like
good.
usually those end up looking like really bad, but I think they pulled it off.
Yeah, they did. Honestly, yeah, they fooled me. Actually, I kind of forgot that his hair doesn't look like that.
Yeah, the only reason I like picked that up was because I recently watched a clip from that McDonald's movie that he was in.
Oh, the founder.
Yeah. And so yeah, I was just like, he seems to have a little bit more hair. Dude, you know what'd be the shit though, is if realities ended up merging and we got to see a Batfleck and Keaton like team up.
Dude, that'd be sick and trippy at the same time.
I know, I doubt we'll get it, but that would be so cool.
Hey, never say never with a Flashpoint movie.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. But I hope there's more like surprises for this movie than what we've seen. Because it's like they've given away so much. Like they've kind of they've given away Keaton. They've given away Supergirl. They've given away like 2 Flashes and Batfleck. It was spoiled that Wonder Woman's going to be in this. They've given up freaking Zod.
Yes, literally, what else is there?
Yeah, it's just like I hope there's like something else that we get from this. I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I hope we get something. But I mean that just might be like greedy of me, I guess.
I wouldn't say it's greedy. Like you still want to go to a movie and be surprised. You never want every surprise spoiled in the trailer.
Yeah. Like it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, you kind of know how the movie's going to end ultimately. Obviously they can do some like crazy shit. Like they could kill off Keaton. I doubt they'd kill off Supergirl. If they did, that'd be extremely ballsy.
Yeah, dude, straight up. What if they killed off Batfleck?
Honestly, with them rebooting the entire DC universe, dude, I think they should go balls to the wall with this one. Like
just
kill
off everyone
everyone
from the old DC universe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't kill off the people that are going to make cameos later.
Yeah,
but like I said, I'd go friggin' balls to the wall with this one. Like, you're back, you're dead. You're coming in this movie, you're dead. Like, everyone's dying. And it's like an alternate world, too, so it's like the consequences aren't really there. So,
you know, good point.
It's just like, oh, alternate Earth. Like, we haven't... like, that's okay. We got a different Batman. Oh, like, we got a different Superman. Well, we got a different Aquaman. Like, kill them all. Oh, but, dude, Keaton's Batman suit. Like, the mask is just exactly what I remember. But the suit, dude. Like, it feels more like a leather jacket, which just kind of makes him super cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, I freaking love what they've done with him. Like, I can't wait for better images. Gosh, I'm so excited for this movie. I'm so freaking pumped. If it isn't super obvious, like, me personally, I'm at a 10 with this movie. I'm so excited.
I'm still at a 9. I don't know what can be push me up to a 10, but I'm at a 9.
That's the wrong decision, but okay.
Wow, okay. Well, kiss my ass.
Oh man, dude, I'm pumped. I can't wait to see the freaking bat suits. Like, I hope we get to see them in like a higher quality.
Same here.
Because, like, we have, like, the 7 bat suits, so it's, like, the one in the middle that I'm assuming he's going to wear. We have one where he has, like, gun holsters. We have a freaking Adam West inspired one where it's, like, the light blue and gray. And then just, like, a couple different versions. And then we have, like, his version of, like, the Batfleck Nightmare outfit with the big-ass goggles. Like, there's so many different versions of the suit. I'm so pumped for this movie, dude. And 90% of this hype is for freaking Keaton.
Yeah, dude, straight up.
And then probably the other, like, 90%'s going to Keaton, 7%'s going to Supergirl. like I'll say Supergirl and Zod. And then the rest are, like, I'll give, like, 2% for Batfleck, and then 1% for anything else that's going to happen.
So as Ezra Miller, 1%?
Ezra Miller maybe gets, like, half a percentage.
Damn.
Like, if seriously, if this was just an Ezra Miller movie, I'd probably wouldn't go see it opening weekend.
You know what? Fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm beyond pumped. So unless you have anything else to say about this movie,
I got nothing.
Then let's say we get into this headliner. Alrighty, like we said, this week's headliner, we will be breaking down Air, Courting a Legend. I know you went to go see this movie, was it this weekend?
Yeah, I saw it Saturday.
Yeah, and I went to go see it today. So I'm, like, real fresh off this movie.
Cutting it close. I love it.
I was cutting it real close.
Yeah.
Brielle and I got into a discussion about this on whether or not I told her that I had to go see this movie this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she didn't remember that I did tell her, but whatever. I got to go see it. I had a great time with it. But before we start getting into the nitty gritty with this, we did post a question of the week, and we did get a few responses from some people. So, for those of you that follow us on Instagram and TikTok, we posted a question of the week regarding this movie, asking, what do you consider your shoe brand? And, like I said, we got a few responses, and we actually got some on Instagram, which was great. So the first response we got is from Lavender X Lovely, otherwise known as Christina.
Shout out, sis.
Yeah. So she answered that her shoe brand would be a cross between Converse and Killstar. So I know Converse. I don't know what Killstar is.
It's this brand online that specializes in a kind of like gothic kind of stuff. Like literally, I think like all of their apparel is black. But they also specialize in like boots, heels, stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Christina, the next time I see you, or after this episode is published.
You're gonna get a text like right after.
It's like, let me tell you what Killstar really is, little brother.
Yeah. So I mean, just from what I know about her, the gothic boot kind of definitely matches her aesthetic.
It's like, what's that supposed to mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, but that's a great choice. Our next response comes from our good friend DJ over at the Untrained Eye at Untrained iPod. He says he loves Saucony. Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't look like they like have shoe. Oh, It is still a shoe brand. Like they have a website and everything. Okay, so they kind of have their aesthetic. So he said Saucony, specifically the Jazz Low Pro, which looking at the Jazz Low Pro shoes, they look like they're more like have that running shoe feel to them. Like they kind of have like a weird mixture between like Nike have a Converse feel too, like kind of like the high tops. And then they have like basic running shoes, at least just what I'm seeing on the website. But I mean, they're I kind of dig the aesthetic of these.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, so great choice there. Going on over to TikTok, ignoring the recommendations we get, but we do appreciate those responses either way. So we did get a response from a Senor Bacon and an IDK _man _IDK _man. And they both said Nike. Which I feel is the obvious choice here.
I mean, not for me, because Nike does not make shoes for white feet people.
For
Just
white
saying.
feet?
Yeah, I can never find Nike shoes for white feet. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places, but yeah, even like it feels like when I try to like order a size up, or even if it says wide fit, it's not.
Yeah, I feel like that can get real squirrely.
Right?
I know I haven't paid for shoes in a really long time because I have to wear my shoes to death because my shoes are really freaking expensive because most stores don't carry my shoe size in store. So for those of you that don't know, I wear a size 14 shoe and the only options for 14s are either the crazy expensive Air Jordans or or some like crazy old man shoes / slippers. Like it is ridiculous. So I have to special order any shoe that I get online, and just pray that they fit. Luckily, I have a few brands, and I know they're sizing enough to be like, okay, yeah, I can get away with this. But yeah, I like right now I have I'm wearing a pair of shoes that I've been wearing for, oh boy, I almost want to say 3 years.
That's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so it's a pair of shoes that my mom bought me for my birthday like a while ago. She bought me 2 pairs. And so I've only been wearing one of those 2 pairs for the past 3 years. And I have close to 0 traction on those shoes now. So it may be time for me to switch over shortly, but I'm going to wear those until I freaking can't anymore.
I love it.
And then I have my work boots, which for my work I have to have steel toe. So if I were to say I have a brand, it's going to be one of my work boots brand.
All right.
But yeah, like those are like the 2 varieties of shoes that I wear. So those are like the main shoes, and then I have like some cowboy boots. But I don't really wear those too often anymore.
Do you only just wear those to church?
Like I do, but like that was my go-to. I would wear them to church, but I work weekends, so I only get to go to like one service a month, maybe.
I'm sorry, man.
But yeah. And then did you say yours already?
No, so when it comes to like casual, just wear like out in public, so like like activities or some shit like that. It's Converse. Literally been that since like after high school. I don't know what it is. I just love Converse. But when it comes to work, New Balance has become my new favorite brand because they actually make shoes for white feet people, and they're very comfortable. So those are my two brands.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone that answered our question of the week. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Sorry, that was such a delayed response.
All right, so getting into this week's headliner. If you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros letter grade. The 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give our own personal score at the very end. All of these numbers get magically added up and spit through our algorithm and give us a letter grade to compare this movie to others of a similar grade, as well as a percentage. The percentage doesn't matter quite as much, despite how big of a deal we make about it. But it is kind of fun to see where these movies end up ranking within their own categories. But we'll talk about all that after we get done with this. So, if you have not seen Air, we definitely recommend going to check this one out. It's a really, really solid movie. Spoiler alert. So, so yeah. So Rose is about to spoil the entire freaking movie for you. If you have not seen it. So if you listen beyond this point and anything is spoiled for you, it is your own damn fault. So, with that, Rose, would you like to begin everyone's favorite segment?
I would love to. So, in 1984, Oregon-based Nike Inc. is on the verge of shuttering their basketball shoe division due to low sales. In response to this, marketing VP Rob Strasser, along with co-founder and CEO Phil Knight, tasked Nike's basketball talent scout Sonny Vaccaro to come up with a new spokesperson for Nike basketball shoes. While considering the basketball players chosen in the 1984 NBA draft, Nike's executives think third pick Michael Jordan is off limits, being both a fan of Adidas and too expensive for the basketball division's meager budget. But once he watches Jordan's highlights in conjunction with an Arthur Ashe commercial for his head rackets, Vaccaro becomes convinced that Nike should pursue who he considers a generational talent with both brand and athlete building off each other. Following dinner with his friend George Raveling, who coached Jordan in the Olympic tournament, and asking for his support in courting the star, Vaccaro travels to Wilmington, North Carolina, where he convinces Michael's mother, Dolores, that Nike would give Jordan all the attention that he would not get from his preferred brands Adidas and Converse. After receiving a negative phone call from Jordan's agent, David Falk, regarding contacting his client's family, Vaccaro learns that the Jordans have scheduled a meeting at Nike's Beaverton, Oregon headquarters the following Monday. Vaccaro and Strasser start preparing their pitch while requesting shoe designer Peter Moore to prepare a prototype, which Moore names Air Jordan, after Nike's Air Sole technology. In the meantime, Knight accepts to assign the basketball division's entire $250,000 budget to hire Jordan. After the meeting with Jordan and his parents is successful, Vaccaro learns that Adidas matched the offer while adding a Mercedes-Benz 380 SL, and he thinks the deal will not go through. However, Vaccaro receives a call from Dolores, who states that Michael will sign with Nike on the condition he earns a percentage of every Air Jordan sold. Even though Vaccaro thinks the company's higher-ups would not accept this bonus, once Knight is told he deems it necessary to ensure the endorsement. An epilogue reveals the Air Jordan exceeded Knight's expectations of $3 million in sales, earning $162 million in 1 year and becoming a steady source of income.
Hell yeah. Alright, so just kicking off with story. This being based off of a true story kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to score, but I think what we'll mostly discuss is how well they kept the pace up and how interesting it was and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Which, for the most part, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I know jack shit about sports. know jack shit about basketball, especially. So for considering the fact that I was never bored during this movie, I was so invested in if Nike was going to sign this deal or not. Which I knew that they actually did, because I may know very little about basketball, but I know that this did actually happen. Duh. I'm just saying, we knew it was going to happen.
I could just imagine you being like looking over at someone else in the theater, being like, "I wonder if they're going to sign."
Do you really think they're going to do it? Do you think he's going to go with Converse? I mean, I know I'm a Converse guy, but I think he should really go with Nike. I think that's the shoe company that he should go with.
That's hilarious.
I mean, screw Adidas. I've never worn a pair of Adidas in my life, and I don't plan to, but I got nothing against the brand. But
I don't
Converse
know if
all the
I've
way.
ever owned Adidas.
Converse all the way, man. That's all I got to say. But no, like the story is like so good, because like looking at Nike now, which is arguably the most popular shoe brand on the planet. Not arguably, I think it is. Like when you think shoe, so many people think to Nike, because they don't just make running shoes; they make skating shoes. I'm sure they make something that's close to as Converse as they can get without getting trademarked for it, or copyrighted. Not trademarked, copyrighted. So Nike makes like so many different types of shoes. So I feel that when someone thinks of just a shoe, Nike is one of, if not the first shoe brand that pops into their head. But looking back here,
you remember at the end, it said Nike bought Converse.
That is true. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about anything when it comes to the
that
copyright. They own the damn copyright.
That is true. Yeah, that is very true. So Nike is number one when anyone thinks of shoes, I feel. So the fact that you see them in this movie struggling to keep afloat is just insane. Like I never thought I'd see Nike struggling, but here we are in this movie, and it's told so well. The way that everything basically falls into Sonny's lap. It's basically up to him and who he wants his team to be, which I forget who Jason Bateman played, because he becomes basically his like I feel like they work together the most when it comes to getting his plan off the ground. I mean, because I know Jason Bateman is hesitant at first. But he warms up to the idea, and he's completely on board. And for some reason, IMDb is being stupid right now. Let's see. Rob Strasser. Is it Strasser? I don't know. Let's go with Rob Strasser. Or let
Strasser. That's what
Strasser.
I don't know. You don't really hear his last name used very much.
You don't. Let's just say Rob. Let's just go with Rob, because I feel I'm going to like butcher it every single time and say it a different way. But once Rob is officially on board with Sonny's plan, just what they go through to get this shoe made with the help of Peter, and even Phil, like finally jumping on board with supporting Michael Jordan and him being the face of Nike when it comes to Nike basketball. It's just such an interesting story, and it's such a good story, because you can tell that there is a point that Sonny just feels defeated, and he's like, yeah, this is never going to happen. Michael's going to sign with Adidas. It's what he wears. They're offering him a car. Just that's the company he's gonna sign for. And the fact that it works out in their favor at the end, that Dolores calls and is just like, you know what? Actually, my son wants to accept your offer, but here are his terms, and just it has such a nice happy ending, and I loved it so much, and just yeah, it's such an interesting story, and like I said, I don't know anything about basketball, but I feel this is just a true testament to how great of a director Ben Affleck is. Because he made this shit so interesting to me. Like, the fact that I knew what the outcome was going to be, that, Michael Jordan was going to sign with Nike, and the fact that I was still on the edge of my seat, being like, oh, are they going to sign him? Are they not going to? Like, I know it sounds really stupid.
Dude, I felt the exact same way.
Okay, awesome. But it's just a testament to how great of a director Ben Affleck is. It just, I can't say enough good about this movie. I freaking love this movie. Caleb, how about you, like, actually talk about what you thought of the story? Because I'm just rambling at this point.
Dude, I freaking love it. But I don't know. Like, I didn't have as high of hopes. Like, I went in with, like, ground level expectations for what this movie could be. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a sports movie that doesn't include any sports. It's about a shoe being made. And all I know about the shoe is that people collect them, and they're worth, like, thousands of dollars. And like just all this crazy shit. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, like Ben Affleck, the way that he was able to mold this story into something that felt where you could feel the stress in like every scene, and like all the, like, one thing in particular, like one scene that I'm thinking of is when the Jordans are at Nike for this meeting, and they start playing this video, and you can tell, like, you can almost feel the tension in the room, because Sonny's like looking back at the Jordans, and they're just like completely uninterested in whatever the hell he's showing or whatever they're showing. And he like dude, during that scene, I was just like, dude, shut the video off. You got to do something. Like, you're going to lose them, dude. And then when what's his face, Howard, called Sonny and was just like, hey, this is what Adidas did, and like they're offering him this and this and this, and like you said, Sonny's just defeated. I was just like, oh man, that sucks. Like, I can't believe they missed out on this deal. And I had to keep reminding myself, I'm like, no, they freaking got the deal. You dumbass. So, like, they did such a good job at building that tension, dude. Like, such a great job. And, like, it was humorous throughout. Like, I feel like they could have gone, like, I will say this, the only point where I had a hard time following, or just wasn't, like, super invested, is the initial meeting that Sonny was in when they were trying to figure out who they wanted to approach.
I was the same way, because I was getting so confused, because so many names were being thrown around. I was like, wait, who the hell's that? Who the hell's that?
Like, there was a couple, like, that there was one that I knew. I knew who Charles Barkley was.
Yeah, I didn't even know who that was.
Yeah, but I don't even know him as a basketball player. I know him as freaking shit. What do I know Charles Barkley from? From like an SNL skit that he did.
Over.
Yeah, and then
that's funny.
Like, I know him from that, and then I like knew who he was kinda from Space Jam. Because he's one of the people that gets their abilities taken away.
Oh, no shit. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, let me see who else is in that movie. Because it's freaking hilarious who's... Also, it took me a second to realize, like, oh, is Michael Jordan the one from Space Jam?
No, wait, you didn't know that?
No, like, I knew it because, I mean, obviously we talked about this movie, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I was wondering if they, like, threw in any of these other actors, or who else they threw in as, like, other basketball players. Like, if they referenced anyone. But yeah, Charles Barkley is one that I recognized, and that's mostly because of Space Jam. I didn't recognize any others, though. But yeah, it's like once it was when they were getting into the nitty gritty of like basketball. I'm pretty sure like a major basketball fan is probably going to understand who the hell all these other people are, but I don't. So I was just really uninterested. And then it's like once they got past that point that it kept the momentum and didn't get super into the weeds about like sports talk,
which I really appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think that's more writing, and we'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, this was a really interesting. It was funny. It kept your attention really well. Like I said, like we both said, it built the tension amazingly well.
Yes, it did.
So personally, I think I'm pretty high considering. I think I'm going to be at like 87.
You're going to kill me. I'm like a lot higher than you.
I mean, that's fair. Like, it's fair. This is just kind of where I was at.
I'm at 96.
Oh, damn.
I told you I was higher. A lot higher.
Dude, whenever you say you're a little higher, you usually mean like, I knew for sure you were going to be in the 90s. I did.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Okay.
Dude, I loved this movie.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh, man, that's hilarious. But, I mean, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. Getting into writing, I'm pretty on par with my writing. It was funny. Like I think if I might go a couple points lower on writing, and that's just because of that one scene where they kind of got in the weeds about like their sports talk. And I know that might seem a little bit unfair, but for someone who really enjoys like documentaries like this, I know it's not technically a documentary, but kind of inspired by true events.
Yeah, you like movies based on true stories.
Yeah, I usually do. And I appreciate when they're able to make it so anyone who's not super interested or invested in maybe that world, that they can follow. And I feel like maybe this was a little lacking on that, where they kind of got into the weeds about like basketball, at least when they were talking about like what like different aspects about the way that like Jordan played. Like I think they eventually got there. But yeah, I think I would dock just because of like the weeds that they got into. But I think those points are made up again with the conversation that Sonny had with the Jordans during his pitch.
Dude, like seriously, dude. Okay, Christina might kill me for this, but she started tearing up during that scene.
Dude, like that's a fair reaction. Like that was a powerful scene.
So like the fact that it's like showing flashes also of his. I think if they weren't showing the flashes of like actual like how his life played out for his basketball career, honestly, it would have been still very impactful. But the fact that we get to see it, I feel made it even more impactful, and I loved that.
That was an incredible choice for Affleck to make. Like, holy shit, dude! That was insanely powerful.
Like I had no idea that his dad was shot.
Dude, I didn't either. I didn't know
that came out of shock. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Dude, I didn't know dick all about Michael Jordan other than what he was in Space Jam.
Same here.
Like, I know that everyone's just like, "Oh, Michael Jordan's the best player." Like, I'll take your word for it. Like those were my vibes towards the movie.
Is fair. I would say the same thing.
I will say this too. Another thing that I kind of really appreciated about things that they did with this movie is they didn't focus on Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you straight up don't even see his face, which I actually think was a very good call.
That was an excellent call.
The fact that you only just see the back of his head.
Yeah, and you hear him say like one line.
Yeah,
over the phone.
That's it.
Yeah, but just the fact that it focused on the people that made this happen for him, where it was Sonny and his mom. Like that was the focus. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. That scene also when they're just in her backyard, just sitting on that picnic bench. Ugh, freaking chills. So many good scenes of just two people just speaking dialogue to each other. I love it.
Dude, have you heard what like Ben Affleck talking about this movie?
I've only seen one interview, but it's like for like a completely different thing of what's yours about.
So it was like when he had read the script for this movie, like his story about it. So Ben Affleck read the script. He was really interested in making the movie. He talked to his team and everything and was like, I want to make this happen if we can, but I want to talk to Michael Jordan first. And so he went and talked to Michael and said, listen, I want to make this movie, but I only want to make it if I have your blessing. And he's like, you can absolutely make this movie. My only stipulation, like if you can't make this happen, the movie's not happening. He says the only thing that you have to do is get Viola Davis to play my mom.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, and so he's just like, dude, that's Viola Davis. Like, she doesn't just come work for anyone. But luckily, they approached her. She was super into it and made the scene happen. So, like, she is the reason this movie got made.
Oh, dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I saw an interview with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and one part he just starts out just like, yeah, did you notice Matt lost all the weight? Because he actually, Affleck had Matt wear a fat suit for this movie. And,
I was wondering, dude.
Yeah, no, so he didn't. Yeah, so he didn't gain the weight. That was a fat suit. But honestly, I would have believed that he gained the weight. I didn't think that really wasn't Matt Damon. It looked good. Looked great,
dude. It looked really good. Like I was wondering, like that whole time. I'm like, did he really like? They're really ripping into his weight.
Yeah. But
like, this kind of seems personal at some point,
right? No, but the interviewer asked like, "Oh yeah, so what did your wife think of the movie?" He's just like, "Oh yeah, my wife loved it," and then she's like, "But she said that I looked like shit."
Dude, if there are any actors that feel like really down to earth, it's freaking Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Dude, they are one of the best pairings I've ever seen in Hollywood. I love those two together.
They're incredible.
They were seriously brothers in another. Like, I truly feel that. They such amazing chemistry.
Dude, they've been working together for years. Like,
yeah.
Have you ever seen Good Will Hunting?
I have not. It is on my bucket list. I really need to.
Dude, it's a great one.
That's what I've heard.
Recommend. But yeah, like the dialogue in this was incredible. There was like nothing that I felt that was super wasted. If anything, again, the only thing that I'd dock for is how much they got into the weeds in regards to sports. And for someone that's not a sports fan, it was kind of hard to follow, but they were able to make up for it in other ways. So.
I agree.
So like any points that I would take away, I would kind of make it back up. So where this is why I say that it's kind of on par, because I think take away the decent, like the really good dialogue and discussions, I'd probably be around 85, maybe even like 83, 84. But because of like how little impact those had and how big of an impact the those deep conversations were, I'm probably sitting around the same. I'll actually go a little bit higher, so I'll sit at an 88 when it comes to writing.
I think I'm just gonna match my 96.
Again, completely fair. I understand where you're coming from. All right. Next up, we got acting. So we have Matt Damon, who played Sonny Vaccaro, Jason Bateman, who played Rob Strasser, Ben Affleck, who played Phil Knight, Chris Messina, who plays David Falk, Viola Davis, who plays Dolores Jordan, Julius Tennant, who plays James Jordan, Chris Tucker, who plays Howard White, and then Matthew Mayer, who plays Peter Moore. And I think that is basically everyone. I mean, I would include... for those of you that are curious, Damian Young played Michael Jordan, but you never saw his face. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to include him.
Fair enough.
All right. I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same top three. Maybe. So what's your top three look like?
Number 3, I'm going to get to Viola Davis. Absolutely fantastic performance. I mean, she always is in everything she does, but especially in this movie, like, goddamn. Fantastic. Amazing. When she needed to put on the drama, she brought it. Loved her in this movie. Number 2, I'm going to give to Jason Bateman. Loved him in this movie. He needs to do more dramatic roles. Like, he's really good in comedy, but goddamn, that guy can do dramatic roles, and I really want to see him more in these kind of movies, because I absolutely loved his performance. He was fantastic. Absolutely loved him. And then number 1, definitely got to give it to Matt Damon. This arguably is my favorite Matt Damon performance ever. He is absolutely incredible in this movie as Sonny Vaccaro. Just the what he adds to this character, how he brings this character to life, just is so incredible. There's a reason why Matt Damon is one of my favorite actors working today, and this movie just solidified it for me. Just absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's my top.
I have the exact same top 3 as you, but I'm swapping Jason Bateman for Viola Davis.
Absolutely understandable. Fair enough, man.
Dude, and this is probably going to be the hottest of hot takes. I don't think I like Jason Bateman as a comedic actor.
Really? Wow.
I find him so annoying in freaking comedic roles.
Like in Horrible Bosses?
Horrible Bosses, I hated him.
Damn, okay, alright.
Like,
That really
like
is a hot take.
I know, like I said, probably the hottest of hot takes, but I absolutely agree with you. I do really like him in dramatic roles. I think I don't know what it is. Like when it's straight up comedy, I don't think it works very well. But when it's drama and he has like comedic lines and stuff, for whatever reason, I feel like that works better than anything comedy wise that he does.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
And like, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some stuff of his that I do like. But I like I said, when it comes to just straight up comedy, not the biggest fan. And like, I'll say this, in Zootopia, I don't feel like that's a comedic role, but I did really like him in that. So, yeah, but Horrible Bosses, Identity Thief,
Office Christmas Party.
Office Christmas Party, yeah, like shit like that. I'm just like, dude, just shut up. Like I said, I find him so freaking annoying.
Oh, dude, that.
And I know, like I said, probably the hottest of hot takes there. But yeah, there's not a lot of comedy that I like him in. I like him in a lot more serious roles. Holy shit. I was just kind of scrolling through his IMDb. I didn't realize he was in Little House on the Prairie.
I'll be damned. Huh.
Holy shit.
Hmm.
I didn't realize. Dude, have you ever watched Little House on the Prairie?
I can't say I have.
Okay, I just looked him up in that movie. Freaking wild. Like, I know exactly who he played. I didn't. He doesn't even look like the same person. That's insane. Anyway, to get totally off track there. But yes, I absolutely agree with your other choices for the exact same reasons. I just rank them different. So where are you sitting with acting?
Considering that everybody else was just as good, I feel there's no weak players in this cast. Everyone brings their A game. Dude, I'm gonna be at a 98.
Holy shit, dude! I'm like at a 90. Like I'm. It's one of my higher scores, but I mean, good hell. All right. Next up, we got character development, which this being kind of based on a true story, it's a little difficult to do. Kind of, but I like for this story, and obviously this is the main focus was on Sonny Vaccaro. I do think he had a decent arc in this.
Yeah, I mean, seeing him be not the hot shot with his boss when the movie first opens, that the division that he runs is in fear of getting shut down, and then watching his progression of actually being able to set up something that might actually save this division, pulling it off and being rewarded for that. I feel is a pretty decent character development. It's not the best one I've ever seen. But for the way that Sonny is set up as a character, I feel it works well for him.
I absolutely agree. I think he like they did a really good job at kind of giving him a little bit of an arc, and I think it was mostly because of how off the cuff he was. Like, he wasn't like super following the rules, and maybe he didn't have that like realization of how it affected people around him until he was in the thick of it with Rob. Like, when they were like on their like in the middle of the weekend, and Rob's sitting down being like, this is all I have. Like, I get to see my kid like once a week for 4 hours at a public park, and like the only reason I feel she likes me is because I get to bring her free shoes. And he's like, and if I lose this job, like I'm still going to be buying these shoes in some pathetic attempt to make her love me. And then like how he kind of calls Sonny out and like, you were reckless. And I really hope that this works. And I believe in you as much as I can, but like that, there's a lot on the line, and it's not just your job. And I think that kind of hit Sonny. Like, in a way, like, because I think it was like it showed that really had like a really good impact on Sonny. And so when they were playing that video and he was seeing that the Jordans were just completely uninterested, and he was kind of like looking around the room and even noticed Rob like kind of had that like an expression on his face, and so he's like, this isn't going to do it, and goes like real deep with that like emotional speech. Like I think that showed a lot of growth for his character. Like where it seemed like at first he was wanting to play it safe, wanting to play like after taking this huge risk, it's like taking that moment to be like, I think he again was being like somewhat reckless, was able to make something happen, was just trying his best to make it work and taking all these risks. And then he like had this moment with Rob that kind of pulled him back a little bit into like reality. And he's like, all right, now we just need to play it safe from here. But he's like, that hasn't worked very well from this point. And then boom, like right back into the crazy risks and stuff like the stuff that worked. And so I thought that was really, really impactful in terms of like seeing a character develop.
I absolutely agree.
Because I mean, I think the situation that he was put in was perfect for any sort of development that he would have. That it's kind of a make or break moment. Those make for really good character arcs.
True that.
So where are you sitting with the character development?
I will say I am lower than my other categories. So I think I'm going to go 90.
Yeah, this is probably one of my lower categories as well. I think I'm around like maybe an 84.
Fair.
All right, next up we got effects, which in this there weren't really any special effects. Well, that's not necessarily true. I feel like there were some, especially because it was set in the 80s.
That is true.
Like they kind of had to do the so most of this is going to involve cinematography, which I feel like the cinematography wasn't my favorite. It did work though. It kind of had the feel of like an older movie than what it was.
It did, but I feel it worked in its favor.
I do too. So I did really appreciate that. And then I think one of the standout scenes for me in terms of just seeing having that look into the past was when he was driving around in Vegas.
Yeah, that's also wonderful.
I will say that is the one scene though that I had issues with because it did look like he was on a green screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it kind of stood out in a negative way.
All right. Fair enough.
Dude, I want to know how they freaking shoot scenes like that. I'm like, you can't just go to Vegas and like shoot in like what Vegas looked like in the 80s. Like, how do you just have to go back and find like old footage of Vegas and be like, here we go?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd love to know how they handled that.
I will say I loved the little homage to the 80s that they had at the beginning, where it was just a huge slideshow of just shit that was so popular back then. They even had Ghostbusters in the freaking montage. It was fantastic.
Yeah, dude, that was a really
nice touch.
cool montage.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah, so this one I'm fairly average on.
I can definitely agree with you.
I will say maybe I might be a little higher on character development or than character development. So I'm probably sitting at like an 85 in terms of effects, because I mean they were good. There was a lot of like standouts, but it just like it wasn't like anything Oscar worthy, I feel.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
All right, next up we got music.
I mean, I'm not really remembering a lot from it. I feel I don't know about you, but it was kind of like definitely like maybe a little bit more of the weaker points for the movie for me.
I feel that way too. That I mean, they did have some, like, it was a lot of older songs,
Yeah, that's true.
but nothing that like really stood out. And for an 80s movie, that's a real shame.
Yeah, I agree.
Or not an 80s movie, an 80s movie, or set
like
in the 80s movie.
Yeah, I knew what you were putting down.
Yeah. So I'm with you. It was a little underwhelming.
It was.
But I mean, whatever they did use, I mean, it worked for their stuff. So I think I'm probably at like a 6.
Yeah.
And that's like a really soft 6. Like, I could easily be talked down to a 5.
I would say it's a strong 6 for me.
That's fair. So we'll meet at the middle. At like a pretty sturdy 6.
I like it.
All right, next up we got costumes.
I mean, I think they did a really good job recreating the 80s. There's definitely a lot of I wouldn't say outfits that like scream the 80s, but there's a lot of like office attire that I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely the 80s. You wouldn't really catch a lot of people wearing those kind of like jackets today, like especially like some of the stuff that Matt Damon wore. The polos that he wore were like I felt like it changed like every scene when it came to him at Nike, but there were like some polos that were like, I don't know what kind of material they were, but it was like a not like a felt, but like a it was a material. I don't know how to explain this. It's a material that like really screamed 80s that like you don't really see a lot of people wearing nowadays when it comes to polos.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean. It's like
Okay,
the
cool.
polo where the collar and like the pocket liner has like a solid color, but then it's like a pattern on the shirt. Yeah, like
Yes.
that's a super 80s thing.
Okay, yes.
At least
so
I feel like it is. Like,
No, I do too.
our older listeners can call us out if you want. I mean, we're just stupid 90s kids.
They're probably just
But-
like freaking millennials.
But dude, I think they nailed like just everything. Like, I think or Ben Affleck's hair, the freaking tracksuit that he was wearing,
Dude, those pink shorts, he was rocking, man. He was rocking.
Yeah, it's just like all of that stuff. Like it, like dude, even Viola Davis's wardrobe, like that felt very like 80s,
Oh yeah,
kind of like that
absolutely.
80s housewife feel.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like maybe a little bit more put together, but still, like she looked incredible.
Absolutely.
Then I'm trying to think of like other standout like outfits, but yeah, everything else that everyone else was wearing. Jeez, that was a freaking struggle. Was good. Like, I think Rob's kind of Hawaiian shirts. Then,
I
like you
love
said,
those.
Matt Damon's polos and
It
button
seemed
ups.
like what was sorry, one second. Matthew Mayer, who played Peter Moore, I feel like he definitely wore like kind of like a lot of like sweater vests or like sweaters in general that like pulled over his like button up shirt. So I feel that maybe it might have screamed a little bit of 80s. I mean, I know a lot of people still do that, but like maybe some of the designs that were on his sweaters definitely looked more 80s.
I think it's like just kind of like looking at a picture of him. It's kind of like wearing, like you said, that sweater, but with like over a flannel.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Like, it's just kind of a whole vibe within itself.
It is, straight up.
So, I mean, I think they did really good with the costumes overall.
They did. They really did.
So I don't know about you. I can, but I'll just say I can be either at a 7 or an 8.
I'm the same way, so I'm gonna let you decide.
Oh boy. You know what? I don't know if I have a coin.
Damn it, I don't either.
All right. I'll flip my USB drive. Oh, there's no indicating markers on that. Never mind. All right, whatever. I'll drop this Hello Kitty button.
All right.
So I guess heads or tails.
Yeah, tails.
We probably should have decided what heads or tails mean.
That is true. Okay.
We're freaking stupid.
Tails 7. Sorry, yeah.
Right.
So, no, tails 8, head 7.
So tails 8, heads 7.
Yeah.
All right, it's 7.
Okay. That was good. That was good.
I mean, we probably just could have paused and I could have gone to get a coin, but
yeah, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah, there is no fun in that. All right, last up, we got our own personal score. So I will let you finish this off, so I'll go first.
Okay.
So I had a surprisingly good time with this movie. I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, and that's just mostly because I didn't know how they were going to make the story of making a shoe as compelling as they did. It was incredibly well done. They were able to build tension on things that most people know. Like, even me being outside of the sports world, like I felt like there was tension there, even though I knew, like, oh yeah, he's gonna sign, all this deal stuff is gonna work out, like it's not a big issue, but it felt like a big issue, and they do such a good job at making you like almost forget about all this stuff, and so I had a really good time with that. The cast was just incredible. Loved everyone that was involved in this. Definitely stand out would be Viola Davis and Matt Damon, in my opinion. Loved everything that they were able to do here. So I think my personal score, I'm going to give this. I'm going to be at like an 88.
This has become one of the best based on a true story movies that I have ever seen. The way that this story is told, considering that we already know the outcome, that Nike was able to acquire the rights to Michael Jordan and make the Air Jordan shoe. We all know that happens. But the way that the story is told and how it leads up to that is so captivating. Matt Damon especially is so amazing as the main character in this movie. You feel for him so throughout. You understand where he's coming from, and just watching his journey is absolutely incredible. And he is backed by an all-star supporting cast with Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck, Chris Tucker. Everyone is just so great in this movie. Even if you are not a big basketball fan, you're able to follow along quite easily. They make it so interesting of how Nike and Michael Jordan came together and made such an impactful shoe, and just really showcasing why Michael Jordan is honestly truly the best basketball player that has ever walked the earth. It's such an incredible story, and the way that it is told is it is done with such class, and it's just so good. And when it comes to my personal score, for the fact that I have very few problems with it, like literally next to none, I gotta give this a 97. Yeah, 97.
Damn!
Dude, I loved this movie. Jeez,
all right. All right, well, that concludes this week's breakdown. So going through these scores real quick, starting off with story, we started off at a very solid 91.5. Writing went up a little bit, sitting at a 92. Acting even higher than that, going to a 94. Had a bit of a dive coming into character development, sitting at an 88.5. And then our effects took another little dive, sitting at an 85. And then our music, nothing too special there, sitting at a 6. Costumes were a little bit better, like solid for the times. So we ended up giving that one a 7. And then our personal score ended up averaging out to a 92.5. So, with all of that, the final All Bros letter grade for Air has come out to a B+.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to hit an A-. Damn it.
I know. That's what I honestly thought that too.
Was it close at least?
It was relatively close.
Okay. I know the music and costumes killed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was mostly it. It was music and costumes that kind of did this movie. Everything else was rock solid. Like if I were to take out music and costumes, it would have cracked A-.
Damn. It's okay. I'll accept it.
Well, you don't have much of a choice now, do you?
No, I don't.
So yeah, I think it has a pretty decent home though. It's definitely one of our stronger end B+.
All right, I'll take that.
Okay, so I know you're probably going to disagree with a lot of these rankings. So it's sitting at an 87.31%.
Okay.
Quick. So yeah, it's sitting at an 87.31%, which puts it on the exact same level as Detective Pikachu.
Oh, horse shit.
I told you weren't going to be happy with this.
Oh, hell no. No. Okay, we're doing the whole review over again. Okay, so so music's going to get music's going to get an 8, costumes going to get a 10. We'll bump it up to an A-. Okay, yeah, no, this is not going to happen.
Hey, like I said, so I'll say this. The only one that I think we could go back and change, because I think we both were pretty solid on the music being at a 6, right?
Okay.
The only one that I feel like we could go back and change, and it's because this review technically isn't over yet, is costumes. Do you feel like the costumes were higher than a 7?
Yes.
You lying son of a bitch.
I am not lying. They deserve an 8.
All right. So, going back and making a quick correction, because that's what we do, or what we are able to do because we haven't wrapped this up yet. We changed the costumes to an 8, which it's still sitting at an 80 or at a B+. It actually didn't bump it up that much.
Damn it.
So, like,
but a wrong has been right. So
it's now 8 away from Detective Pikachu instead of
I will
like
take
right
that.
beneath it.
You know what? I will take it.
Dude, I almost shouldn't let you do that. But I think our commitment is like, unless someone goes in and like wants to add their score 2 hours, like we did with DJ and Vic on Far From Home.
Yeah.
Like the rule is that at least not a rule. The thought process I've set in place for us is, it's not we can change or we can make changes until the episode's over. Once the episode's over, we can't change anything.
Okay.
So I think that is completely within the realm of like what we're able to do. And like I said, I was willing to go up to an 8.
So I'm just going to change one more score. See, we're going to bump up my personal grade to a 98. And we're
Dude, that wouldn't have changed it very much.
I'm still sticking with it.
But are you really?
Yeah, I'm bumping it up to a 98. That's the final grade I'm changing.
Okay, it didn't matter. It didn't change its rating at all.
I don't care. It's been decided. This movie's a 98 from me.
All right. Fair enough if you want to be a bitch about it.
I will gladly be a bitch about it, okay?
All right, so
I'll be the bitchiest bitch there ever was.
Oh man.
Bitch you that.
So our costumes got bumped up to an 8, and our personal score has now averaged out to a 93, which keeps the grade at a B+, and the average is now at a firm 88.
Yes, okay. I am okay with that.
So
I will take it.
That puts it that puts it below The Prom, which is at an 88.12.
Wow.
It is below The Invisible Man, which is at an 88.23. It is below Glass Onion, which is at an 88.25. It is below How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is at an 88.37. And then finally, it is below Bros, which is at an 88.56.
Wow, okay.
Going the opposite direction, it is above Raya and the Last Dragon, which is at an 87.81. It's above Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, which is at an 87.68.
All right.
This might be the only one that I disagree with. It's above Parasite, which is at an 87.59.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to agree with that.
You're going to agree with that? Dude, that
Yeah.
movie was fantastic.
It was, but I like this movie better.
I think the same thing killed Parasite. It was freaking music and costumes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's see. It's also above the first How to Train Your Dragon, which was at an 87.5. The exact same as The Black Phone. And then it was above Freaky, which is at an 87.37.
Okay, not bad.
So if we would have kept our original score, it would have been below Freaky.
If you keep the original score.
Man, someone is salty this episode. Anyone who wants to come and throw in like negative scores for this movie, feel free.
If anyone does that, you're gonna feel my wrath.
Rose barely has any wrath, so you're probably going to be fine.
I'm starting to gain it just from this episode, so try me.
So anyway,
Who would have thought air would bring it out in me?
I know, dude. Like, if there was any movie I thought you were going to be, like, super passionate about, I would never have guessed Air. Like, I probably would have thought, like, Elemental, like, which is coming out later this year, or maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but never once did I think it was going to be freaking Air.
And here we are.
That's hilarious. So yeah, that's where it's sitting. I think it has a decent home.
For the most part, I think it has a decent home.
Oh, so yeah. Anyway, so that will conclude this week's breakdown. So if you liked this episode, want to hear more of our stuff, be sure to follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are basically everywhere. We have some big things coming down the pipeline here. So be sure to follow and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. Same as YouTube. All of our social media, we're on Facebook. Twitter, I've been a little less than active on, but Instagram and TikTok have been our big pushes lately. Where you can find us all at the All Bros. You can email us as well, theallbroschannel@gmail.com. You can check out our website, which is tinyurl.com/theallbros, where you can find links to everything that we do, as well as our merch store. I haven't updated it in a while, just because we have over 200 episodes. It's a bit of a chore.
Fair.
So yeah, so feel free to go check that out. So yeah, like I said, we have big plans for this year. So we're making some big pushes. So you'll be seeing lots and lots and lots of changes with the All Bros this year. Hopefully they're good ones. We'll see. But
we'd have faith.
Yeah. It may be hit and miss at first, but like everything else, we'll eventually get it. So we appreciate anyone and everyone that listens to our stuff and supports us in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. Next week, though, you guys can look forward to us breaking down the newest of the Disney live-action retellings of Peter Pan and Wendy, which will be available on Disney Plus. Is it this Friday?
I think so.
Yep, it'll be it should be out as of this recording, or when this episode's out. It will have come out Friday the 28th of April. So definitely go check that out in preparation for the next episode. And until then, this has been the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces!
So long!